And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Eskimo Bros podcast. I've been waiting a long time to say that. I missed this. It's been a year for any of you that watched us in the past. We're back, better than ever, bigger than ever. Everything is better. Everything is great. I'm joined here tonight by first of all, I should say my name is Aiden. And I'm joined here tonight by my lovely friends, Eli.
That's me.
Michael.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hello.
Tonight we're going to be reviewing WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But we'll get to it. First, before we start, though, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Eskimo Bros Cast. That is EskimoBrosCast.
Hit it, Eli, you son of a bitch.
For those of you who don't know how to spell.
So that is for those of you who don't know, that's an old show catchphrase. You'll lighten up. You'll lighten up to the whole scheme of this thing. So basically, we're just gonna go through the show. We're going to talk about the matches. We're gonna give them star ratings now. Eat
Not
your heart out,
rating.
Dave Meltzer. Star
Fuck.
ratings. We used to do like letter grade. I think we did like numbers at some point. I don't know. We're going with stars now. That's the in thing in wrestling right now. So yeah, we might as well get into it. This is our first show back in over a year. There's no script. There's no guidelines to how we're doing this. We're just going for it. It's kind of, we're fresh. We're new into this. So give us some breaks. And me too. I've already messed up quite a few times already, but here we go. Here goes nothing. So, going into this pay-per-view, I was pretty excited. You guys, how'd you feel going in this thing?
I had high hopes for it.
I mean, high is a little bit of an exaggeration.
I don't know. I felt good about it. There were a few matches on the card that I was like, I'm not excited to see that. But and there was other matches where I was like, man, that's going to be some good stuff. And some delivered, some didn't. Could have been a lot better.
I'm sorry, but when you have your world title match as Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal at a pay-per-view,
One of the matches
I can't give you my full support. We'll talk more about that when we get to that match. But I'm sorry, Jinder Mahal. Right now, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it before we even get there. Not a main event star. Doubt he ever will be. Money grab for India. We'll get to all of that though, I promise. How about you, Mike? Mike, how did you feel about this pay-per-view going into it?
I have to agree with you. I had a lot of high hopes. Some matches I didn't really care for, like the Uso New Day match. I honestly wasn't looking forward to it. But then that was arguably match of the night.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, okay. Well, again, we'll talk more about that, but that was a nice one. Nick, how about you, buddy?
I mean, I've been watching more of like New Japan and ROH. So when I watched Dominion last week, so I didn't have much expectations. Seeing the card, I wasn't that hyped for it, but I'm always like, you know what? I'm not a mark. I'm just saying. I'm just like, I used to be into WWE, and now it's kind of the last couple of months. Oh wait, let me just explain for a minute. Jesus.
Let the man.
Fucking hell, this is 6 a.m. I'm up here. I just want to have a good time. Here we are.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. Let's not get off on the wrong foot here.
I'm almost crying on the podcast. But anyway, it's like
We haven't even got to the first match.
the past couple of months have been like a letdown from WWE's side. So I'm not trying to get myself too hyped for it, but I'm always like a sucker for like Money in the Bank ladder matches. So
That is exactly. Hey, I'm gonna admit it right here. I have not been watching wrestling as of late. This is the first full wrestling show I've watched. Not maybe since WrestleMania. Because the Money in the Bank ladder match gimmick to me is always one of the most entertaining matches. I don't think it has the best psychology because you know how much it pains me and it probably pains all of you when you're watching that match and you have to watch them go up the ladder so slowly or so quickly, and then they get to the briefcase and they're like, oh, how do I unhook it? It's just like the psychology of the match isn't because you expect people to act quicker to act smarter, all that stuff. But that being said, it's a match of big implications because you're talking about making like big moments. Let's throw it back a few years ago to when Seth Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania. That all started at Money in the Bank. Last year, well, let's not talk about last year's Money in the Bank.
Like the implication is one of those guys will be a future world champion unless your name's Damian Sandow.
Fuck.
I mean,
Free my man Sandow.
It's a big concept. I like the stage that it's put on. I like the match itself. It's been one of my favorite matches every year, usually, unless you're talking about like 2015, which was 2015 was kind of a shit stir. And last year's yes.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I don't know. I thought it led to a decent program between Sheamus and Roman Reigns. But you know what? We have a pay-per-view to get to, guys. And speaking of the Money in the Bank ladder match, the first match of the night was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Charlotte, Tamina, Carmella. Wow, I'm dropping the ball here.
And Natalya.
Becky Lynch and Natalya. There we go. Boom. I knew that. So obviously Carmella won in controversial fashion. Just a few notes about the match that I took. Right from the bat, I wasn't crazy about this thing. There was a botched Samoan drop to Carmella from Tamina, which, I mean, it wasn't like an awful thing. Like, she didn't drop her, but she just did not get all of it at all. She didn't get her up completely. Probably the low light of the match, in my opinion, was this really awkward tug of war between Natalya and Becky Lynch for the ladder. I was in a call with Mike when that was happening, and he pointed out the fact that there was literally a ladder a few feet away from them, perfectly functional ladder, dropped and grabbed. And then they could have had like a ladder war, like try to like smack each other with it or something. But literally standing in the center of the ring, going in a circle, like playing tug of war, like that was just I didn't really get what they were trying to do behind that.
I've never cringed so hard in a ladder match ever until that moment. Like, that was stupid.
It was bad.
Turn around and pick the other ladder up, you know?
Yep. Also, but hey, this match was not all negatives, and it wasn't a bad match overall. Like, I'll get to that like when I'm getting towards the end of it. But there was this really cool spot where I believe Becky Lynch was standing against the ladder, and Carmella came up and hit her with, like, I think we were talking about this before we went on air. I think it was a Frankensteiner, might have been a Hurricane Rana.
I'm gonna call it a Frankensteiner.
It looked like a Frankensteiner. Who reported that it was? It was Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report has it listed as a Hurricane Rana. That's where I'm getting my notes off of. So Bleacher Report, you get a thumbs up from me.
That's why I take my own notes.
That's why I knew who was
inaccurate.
That's why I knew who was in the match, and you didn't, because I was right in front of my face.
Well, you got me there, Eli.
I did.
And then finally, what's that, Mike?
You know it's sad when you don't remember who was in the match and you have to look it up.
Well, yeah, it's kind of true. I'm not going to defend myself there on that one. I probably should have like written it down somewhere. I'll probably struggle with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match too, probably. I'll be honest. I have bad memory. Anyways, the last spot I wanted to mention, which was just basically like another kind of awkward moment where I think Charlotte was trying to spear Tamina through the ropes, but she hit the spear. Tamina kind of like bounced off the ropes, and then I think she just kind of like rolled out of the ring. I get what they're trying to do, but I also don't think that's like physically, humanly possible, because unless Tamina was able to get like to a completely horizontal base, she wouldn't have been able to get through the rope, you know? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they were going for there.
It was awkward, and whenever I was watching it, I was like, man, that was odd. And I don't even like Charlotte's spear to begin with. And it looked more like a tackle. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know if they were going for through the ropes or what they were going for, but it was just it was an odd spot.
In my opinion, like whenever you see whenever there's a move that's questionable to you, you have to watch what happens afterwards. The fact that Tamina rolled out of the ring as soon as that happened, I feel like was indication that she was supposed to be sent out. But anyways, that's all like the spots. There was obviously more spots. There was a lot of. I actually want to compliment the ladies on using the ladder a lot more than I anticipated. I figured that the reason there hadn't been a women's Money in the Bank ladder match before this moment was because I don't know if it was the people, like the women in the locker room or Vince, but like I just figured that nobody wanted to like mess with ladders or take bumps onto the ladders. But Becky Lynch definitely took some crazy bumps. A lot of people took some crazy bumps. They were swinging that thing around a lot during the match. So credit to them. Like it wasn't just a match. Like here's what I could have easily seen it being. A match where it's basically just like a fatal 5-way, but the finish has the ladder. And somebody they don't bring the ladder into the equation until the finish. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. It was not a bad match at all. But it wasn't an excellent match either. And we can talk about this finish as well. I'm sure we're going to have some people on one side, some people on the other side. Basically what happened was Becky Lynch was about to grab the briefcase, and then James I love this guy. James Ellsworth comes in, tips the ladder, climbs up, grabs the briefcase, drops it down to Carmella. There's some discussion among the refs over whether or not that should be a victory. But for some reason, James Ellsworth just grabs the microphone and says Carmella wins, and that just makes it official. So basically, how you win a match is you just grab the microphone and announce yourself as the winner. I mean, I wasn't maybe I missed something, but like the ref said that she won, but I don't know. I mean, that as far as I saw, or I'm sorry, as far as I heard, that's anything that happened, and that's just basically like back to bad WWE psychology. It's just kind of how it goes sometimes. But
my biggest
question
of the night is, where were the authority figures like all night? Because there was the controversy with this match, and what was the other? Oh,
the Usos and the
was
New
it?
Day?
I mean, yeah, that was a count out though, and then the Singh brothers getting booted and then they didn't leave.
Oh yeah,
like a tweet about how angry they were. Like they didn't come out and like fix the situation. Like they weren't to be seen all night.
And the fact that again, this is something that Mike pointed out. The fact that they were out there for actually, let's save that for that match. Let's talk about the fact that the lack of the authority figures. I'm not sure about Shane. Daniel, we know that they've been plugging that he's going to be returning on SmackDown this week. Good for him. Don't really care. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Daniel Bryan fan personally. We can talk about that more on SmackDown. With Shane, I don't know. I guess maybe he wasn't even at the arena, honestly, and they just didn't have.
I guess I don't know. It's just it makes for an odd situation. That finish made for an odd situation. And going into the match, Carmella was my pick because that's what the dirt sheets were saying and everything. That's what the rumors were saying, and I think Carmella's character is the perfect fit for a Money in the Bank or like the Miss Money in the Bank, because she's that underhanded heel that will do anything to get the title shot that she needs, and that's what Edge was when he first won the original Money in the Bank, and that's kind of the stereotypical guy or girl now that holds the briefcase.
Mm-hmm. Do you take problem with how the match ended?
Yes, actually, because I believe that wrestling is done in moments, right? You think of like iconic moments. You think of like Seth Rollins holding the title at the end of WrestleMania or something like that, and the just a picture of a woman unhooking the first ever Money in the Bank briefcase from the carabiner hanging above the ring, that would have been another moment, a huge moment in wrestling. But instead, James Ellsworth is the one that grabs the first Miss Money in the Bank briefcase and drops it to Carmella. I like the result. I don't like how it was executed.
Let me argue that, because personally I actually love the ending. From like a fan perspective, I was kind of like laughing, honestly. I think it was pretty funny.
I laughed too, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't believe that's what should have happened.
Listen to me. So you think that Carmella should have won, right? She was at least suited to win.
Yes, definitely. I think that she has potential to make a great run as Miss Money in the Bank.
I personally agree. I thought the same thing. I thought that Carmella was the right choice to go to win this match. And I'm glad they did it this way, because listen, you're right, this is a history-making moment. This is a big deal. However, Carmella winning this match cleanly and getting that thing, like, because you talk about it being a big moment. Seth Rollins winning the title, he got a huge pop, right? The next night on Raw, huge pop. Suddenly, he's a heel who's getting babyface pops. All heels that have these big moments, they start getting babyface reactions. Do you want Carmella, who's supposed to be a heel, getting a babyface reaction? Everybody's congratulating her. Everybody's happy. Everybody's singing Kumbaya as Carmella unhooks the briefcase, right? You want people to be mad that she won because she is a heel. That is her job, to make you mad. You are mad that James Ellsworth unhooked that briefcase and dropped it down to her. Now, we're going to see on SmackDown if that holds true. Honestly, I mean, I could personally see, because they're talking about Shane and Daniel are talking about doing something, addressing the issue, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they're going to make her defend the briefcase in a way.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, we can talk more about. I didn't like the fact that Carmella came out during the Naomi Lana match, but we can talk about that during that match. But anyways, my point is, you don't want Carmella getting that kind of reaction. Just like when you give Charlotte look at Charlotte's a face now. You know why? Because she was getting face reactions most of the time, unless she was facing Sasha, because Sasha was more over with the fans. Charlotte was getting face reactions because she's having these incredible matches at WrestleMania. She's having the Hell in a Cell match, the Iron Man match, like all of these things, and she's winning them. So she's getting positive reactions from the fans. I, personally speaking, don't want my heels getting positive reactions. That's how a heel works. You're supposed to get booed.
Yeah, I do really get what you're saying. But at the same time, we're in a different era of wrestling where heels get pops. That's just how it is, because they're likable. You love to hate them, but you love them for their character itself. It's kind of like for Walking Dead fans, you love Negan because he's an asshole.
I like that reference.
Exactly. Like you want to hate him, but the character is so likable, and with wrestling, their in-ring ability is so spectacular. Not saying that's Carmella, but that's just how heels are nowadays. There's going to be a numerous amount of people, especially the internet wrestling community, that is going to cheer on heel wrestlers. That's just wrestling today.
But there's usually a reason. There's usually as you said, they either have a likable character, like let's talk about Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. As heels, they were funny. They were going for that positive crowd reaction, even though I'd argue that that's not the type of heel that this company should have. This company needs heels that get booed, so when they have a babyface fight those heels, it's the babyface is getting the good reactions, and the heels getting booed. You don't want to have a situation where like for example, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. If they were to fight each other and Kevin Owens is getting just as good as reactions as Sami Zayn, like, I'm sorry, I never want that to happen. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, Kevin should always be getting booed, Sami should always be getting cheered. But Kevin Owens is funny. That's the issue. I personally do not like funny heels. I mean, okay, personally, for the world of wrestling, they're a hindrance. Because again, I've said this many times now, you do not want your heels getting cheered. And yet, Carmella is not likable, and she's not a fantastic wrestler. But you know what she is? She's a great character. As you said, she's an underhanded heel. She'll do whatever it takes to win. And that's why I love James Ellsworth, too. Because he's a dude that you want to hate because he just did that. And he does all these things. He's helping Carmella win these matches. And I want to talk about one other thing. The people that were arguing sexism in this match.
That was not.
How else were you supposed to get? No. Coming from. I kind of get what it's coming from. I personally speaking, if Carmella was not going to win this match, I mean, first of all, I should say I would have been fine if Carmella just grabbed the briefcase. Like, I'm just saying that I think for heat-wise, she is going to get more boos and more heat through this finish. But I think that a woman unhooking that briefcase would have been much better because it was a women's wrestling match.
So
perfect heat. It's because if Carmella's manager was, or I guess he's not really a manager, but like whatever James Ellsworth is to Carmella, I don't really get their whole thing. But if that person was a woman and she grabbed the briefcase, there wouldn't be as much heat. That would just be like a normal heel finish. There's heat because it was James Ellsworth and it was a guy. So was it sexist? No, it was just a smart wrestling move for heat, in my opinion.
I think people too they get to it. They look too deep into it and they think it's coming from like an underlying meaning. No, when creative was booking this, they're thinking, okay, Carmella's going to get booed even more if this dickhead unhooks the briefcase for her.
I guarantee Vince McMahon was not sitting there like, how can we finish this match to make every single person think we're sexist? Or we need to end this match with a man on top. Like, no, he was going, if James Ellsworth unhooks that briefcase and pulls it down and drops it to Carmella, that is going to be incredible heat. I don't care if people, I looked at Twitter during the show. People are saying it was a shitty ending. It was not, because guess what? The people that call it shitty are mad. That's heat right there. Carmella and James Ellsworth have heat. And in my opinion, Carmella is going to be a fantastic Miss Money in the Bank, if that's what they're calling it. I guess that makes sense. That's probably what they're calling it. I think she's going to do a great job. It's probably going to be a lot like the Seth Rollins run with Money in the Bank, and I personally hope that she wins the title. I'd be interested to see a Naomi and Carmella feud. I think Carmella is a great character, kind of like Alexa Bliss. Not the best wrestler, neither is Alexa Bliss, but they're both great heels. They both make you mad. They both make you want to hate them. And with James Ellsworth, it's this whole nother level, personally speaking. Anyways, let's stop talking about that. We got a few more people to get their opinions in on the match. Nick, how did you feel about this match?
Oh God, I was just like, I was really into this because it's historic, right? You want to like give it a chance, and they did some really good spots here and there. I'll give them that. They did some really good spots, but then again, the finish, I'm kind of conflicted on it because I get both sides of stories of everyone's reacting. You want to get that heat, but at the same time, it's an historic match. You want to have that first ever ladder match to have a historic like picture, and the heat. Or nowadays in wrestling, it's gonna change. If people like it, they'll cheer for it. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's good or bad. If they like it, they'll cheer for it. That's how wrestling is nowadays. So you can't really like create set good heat or bad heat. It's just if people like it, they'll like it, and if they don't, they'll let you know. But for me, the spot was like, it's smart. If it was like not the first one, I would have said, all right, it can go through. But that was the first one. So
I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. If it was like a couple, like if they had a match like this beforehand, and this was like just another Miss Money in the Bank match, having that spot, I wouldn't have minded. But it's the history making aspect of a woman grabbing the briefcase would have been pretty symbolic and pretty one of those pictures that you look back at WWE and be like, man, that was awesome. But it's James Ellsworth instead. But moving on.
Yeah, but you kind of felt that James Ellsworth was going to get involved in one way or another. So
oh yeah. Well, I guess it comes down to this. You guys are looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at what's important right now. And to me, again, what's important right now is that Carmella is getting heat. Because you have a very beloved babyface in Naomi for the most part. And when Carmella cashes in that briefcase, you don't want people cheering. You want people booing. When's the last time that somebody has cashed in the briefcase and there were boos? With Sheamus, I kind of forget. But wasn't Roman champion? So they were probably cheering, right?
I also forget because Roman just won the title.
That was at Survivor Series, right? It was. I believe it was after. Yeah, it was after Roman and Dean. And considering the fact that it was Roman who won, I'm going to go ahead and guess that they cheered Sheamus. Because people don't like people. I like Roman, but not a lot of people like Roman. I'm sorry. We'll talk about that on Raw. That's for tomorrow.
I believe the last one would be like when D-Bry won the title and Orton cashed in.
Oh yeah, okay.
That would probably be like,
that was good.
That got a pop. Dean got a pop.
It's that because Dean. I'm sorry. You got me confused with the Dean because Daniel Bryan was a beloved babyface and Randy Orton was hated. Probably for a different reason. I feel like the Randy Orton hatred was more just because he's one of the most stale acts in professional wrestling today. Again, we'll get to that later.
Oh, I will.
But yeah, I think that this is like a perfect opportunity for them to have a heel Money in the Bank briefcase holder cash in and get booed.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it, Ron.
I think Carmella is going to be. If you think Alexa Bliss is a good champion, I'm sure you're going to think that Carmella is a good champion too.
And I'm in that boat.
Wrestler, but there's not a lot. Like there are definitely some incredible women's wrestlers on the roster, but I mean they just gave a title match to Naomi. I'm sorry, to Lana. Naomi's good. I'm sorry, to Lana. They just gave a title match to Lana. So. I mean, she's not even a good character. She's real. I don't get what they're doing with Lana right now.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
We keep doing that.
Bro, we keep on setting ourselves. Like I swear to God, we're setting up ourselves up for some like really good future conversations. Just wait.
When they're not.
Wait and see.
In reality, they're not going to be that good.
We're probably gonna forget about them. We're probably just gonna forget that we ever like mentioned that we're gonna talk about it. But Carmella's a great character, and if she's getting booed as a heel, it's going to be excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways,
this mic real quick.
Natalia.
We're almost 30 minutes in this show, and we haven't even gotten to the first match, guys. We're going off right now. All right. Last but not least, Mike, how did you feel about this match? Thoughts, opinions, whatever you want.
You there, buddy?
Mike, you there?
Some great input.
Well, I guess he's dead.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the commentary. Okay, guys. I guess so. Yeah, as I said earlier, we're gonna do a star rating for these ones. -5 stars. No, okay, I'm just kidding. Personally speaking, I honestly did not write any of this down, so I'm just going off the cuff here. I'm gonna give this match 2.5 stars. It wasn't incredible, but it wasn't bad. The finish did not make me mad. I think it was great for the heat. But as for it being history making, other than it being the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match, there wasn't really any history made. Nobody's going to be going back in time and talking about this match as an example of what a women's Money in the Bank ladder match should be. I do, however, hope that they do more in the future, for sure. This should be a thing from now on. If the women on the roster are willing to do it, and Vince McMahon is willing to let it happen, this should definitely be happening because it was not a bad match. In fact, I argue that it was just as good as, maybe not last year's. Last year's was pretty good, but the year before that, the one that Sheamus won, I'd argue that it was just as good. So it was not
Yep.
bad at all. Eli, what would you give it?
This is tough. I'll probably give it 2.75, 2 3/4.
Okay.
I like the result. I think that the execution of not only the ending, I think the execution of the match could have been better, although there were good spots. It wasn't my cup of tea, and it wasn't the history-making thing that I sort of expected to happen. It was just kind of another multi-woman match with ladders.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. Mike, how many stars would you give this thing?
2.25 from me.
Oh, so we're in between. We got a 2.25, a 2.5, and a 2.75. Finally, Nick, how many stars would you give this?
I'm gonna be generous and give them 3 stars.
Ooh,
Damn.
Wow.
I'm being generous here, just because I feel like the spots, they were good. Not like to say wow, but they put some guts out there, and they wanted to show that they could do something with this ladder match, and they did. You can argue that the finish was not that great, but aside from that, it was a good match. Decent, but not the greatest ladder match I've seen.
I completely agree.
You are sexist.
Yeah, we talk about that.
God.
In counterance of that, I would just like to say that I'm actually really happy with the progression of the women's division and the fact that Vince is letting them do so many other different matches. Like, I hope we see a Hell in a Cell match this year again, and I hope at next year's Money in the Bank we see another ladder match. Like, I hope he keeps on giving them these. I'd love to see, how about an Elimination Chamber match next year? Like that. Like, I love to see this progression because they can do it. As we just gave these ratings, nobody was giving them 1s, nobody was giving them 0s, nobody was giving them -5 stars. This was a solid match. If they can continue to produce solid matches in these stipulations, then there is absolutely zero reason why they should not continue going into the future.
Today's women are very capable, and they've proven
exactly. The division,
so
the division over just the last few years has, I feel like as soon as Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte came on board, I'm not the biggest fan of all of like somebody like Becky. I think she's a very solid worker. Not a huge fan of Sasha, but I still think she's a great worker. I love Charlotte personally. But they really just turned things around. It became less about looks. That's the thing that, like, I think really, like, I always hear, like, back in the day, they literally just used to flip through, like, model magazines and pick the hottest girls and give them a call and bring them into work. That's not how it is anymore. It's about skill. These women are on the independent scene. And look at the women's tournament that's happening, I believe, this summer, right?
That's another groundbreaking thing that I think a lot of people are excited for.
And I think it's going to be excellent because they're bringing in some incredible talents. They're bringing in
Tony Storm.
very world-renowned independent wrestlers. And, like, think about it. Like, just like 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, were there any, like, independent wrestlers, wrestling women on the roster? Like, a few, but, like, a lot of them were products of NXT. Like the game show, not like the current NXT that it is right now. A lot of them were just picked up because they're like models and they're attractive. Like, and I'm not saying that those women aren't talented. Like, some of them definitely were, but now it's about how much talent you have, and that's it's just gonna make women's wrestling going into the future so much better. And there's still so many people down at NXT, like Asuka, like Nikki Storm, like Ember Moon, and other people that are going to come to the roster and just keep on adding and making it better. But anyways, did I say Nikki? What did I say, Mike?
You said Nikki Storm.
Nikki Cross. I'm sorry. She was Nikki Storm though, right? I'm not just making things up.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh well. Hopefully I'm at least somewhat right. Anyways, after this match, we had the tag team championship match between the New Day as the challengers and the Usos as the champions. Guys, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. The New Day cut their little promo before the match. I kind of like womp. It kind of just went through one ear and out the other. Except I heard something. I heard them say something about dropping the soap, and I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't know like what.
It was a bunch of jail references. Like,
then like what city are they
I
in
don't.
tonight?
I wasn't paying attention either.
They were in St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis.
I have no idea what they were referencing there, but I'm sure there was some method to their madness. I have no idea though. I took very few notes during this match just because of how good it was. I was enjoying it. The Usos, as I said, I haven't been watching wrestling recently. I knew they were heel, but watching this match, holy smokes, they have incredible heel offense. Incredible. And the New Day, to me, was one of like the stalest acts in wrestling on Monday Night Raw towards the end of their stint there. But this match made me not want to hate them. Well. This match made me tolerate them. Let me say that because you know the promo was still like it's a little bit too much sometimes. Like you can only be so funny. Come on, you can only say so many funny things.
They were super over at a point, and I think it was just one of those things where they tried too hard to make them funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that they aren't. They're entertaining. They're definitely entertaining. And like comparing the New Day and the Ascension, for example. Huge. I would much rather have the New Day. They at least have that entertainment factor, and they're good wrestlers too. Big E, solid wrestler. Kofi, of course, has always been solid.
Woods surprisingly solid.
He's solid too. He's just exactly. He's underutilized. He just doesn't wrestle as much. Which I would say is probably the smartest decision how they keep Kofi and Big E in the matches because. Big E, you want his size. Kofi is more athletic than Xavier, so it makes sense. But I mean, there's only one slip up during the match, which I believe that the Uso, I don't know. Mike knows the difference. I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
One of them was going for a splash, got him to go for the big ending. But like I think the Uso maybe like. Was a little bit too ahead of him, so he slipped forward. Biggie still he recovered fine though. He scooped him back up on his shoulder, hit the move. So they went through with that. Well, I shouldn't say that was my only problem with the match because the ending was pretty overwhelming. For such an excellent match, through and through, very, very, very solid wrestling. To have the count out finish, which I'll say is the Usos grabbed their titles and basically walked out. A very typical heel finish. I was surprised it ended that way because you usually don't see that. They'll tease it. Like you'll see the heel champion go and grab his belt, but the babyface will cut him off, get him back in the ring, finish the match. I was surprised. That was just a boring ending to me. Just let there be a clean finish. Honestly, you know, going into the match, I was like, please don't let the New Day win because they were very, very boring on Raw. I'm going to need some time to start liking them again. But if they won in that match cleanly, I wouldn't have complained. As I said, it was an excellent match. Either way, and the Usos could have gone over cleanly, and I wouldn't have been mad. No clean finish would have made me mad, but I was left with a sour taste in my mouth with this count-out finish. Eli, what did you think?
It's one of those things where the fans really deserved some satisfaction after a match like that. And today's wrestling is built off of false finishes, but here that wasn't a bad thing because there was a lot of points where I was like, oh, it's over. Kofi's going to tap. Oh, it's over. They hit the moonlight. What is it? Midnight hour? Yeah, they hit the midnight hour. There was a ton of false potential finishes that were either broken up, kicked out of. It was entertaining to me. These two teams have really good chemistry, in my opinion, and I'm not angry at the count-out thing. I'm just kind of like, really, that's how you're going to end a match like that? But it's obviously going to mean more matches between these two teams, and if they could deliver on that, on another stage like that, the way they did tonight, then I definitely think we're looking at another great matchup. Another
I don't.
great matchups.
I personally don't know how many times I can sit here and pretend to tell you that I'm interested in watching the New Day versus the Usos. These two teams have been fighting for years. They've been fighting for a long time, back when the New Day were heel and the Usos were faces. And I'll admit that this was arguably their best match. I mean, they've always had solid chemistry, but this match, like, it had my interest from the first second to the last. The pace was amazing, great spots, a lot of good false finishes. They didn't just kick out of every single finisher like a John Cena match. Now, I love John Cena. I think John Cena is very entertaining with the false finishes. You know, that's my biggest problem with John Cena. I'm allowed to have problems with people I like, okay? But the false finishes were done correctly.
I think the match had great in-ring psychology. I'm
Exactly. You have people pulling legs. You have people jumping in the ring, breaking up the pins. It was excellently executed. But the ending it really, I believe the term you were going for, Eli, it blue balls me, Eli. It really blue balls me. All right. Mike, how did you feel about this match?
Dude, like I said earlier, I honestly didn't care about it going in, but wow, they shocked me. That was such a good tag match, and I can't wait to see more how this feud progresses between the two teams.
Arguably, I would say probably. I mean, when's the last time we've had a tag team match of that excellent caliber?
You're gonna have to look at an NXT.
Yeah, the Revival, DIY.
I mean, obviously, I would say that they come nowhere close to DIY or the Revival, or for that
DIY
matter,
and Alpha.
or DIY and Alpha, or wait, no, I mean like Alpha.
Or, excuse me, Revival.
Don't
and
take
Alpha.
that
and
for
Revival.
a match.
Yeah, the Revival is untouchable. Let's be Revival. Sorry, the Revival is the best tag team on the planet. You can add me on that one. You can add me on that one. Hey! If you're gonna say the Young Bucks are the best tag team on the planet, you can keep your opinion to yourself, man.
I have 3 words in mind, but I'm not gonna say them.
Go ahead. No. Go for it.
No.
Just
I'm
say
not
that.
going to, because you guys will call me a mark, and then
No,
I'll
no,
sit
no,
here sad at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm not here for this.
The word Mark is off the table, and so is Smart. Please say them.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna sing.
All right, but I'm just telling you.
Carry on.
What do you say?
Carry on.
Oh, carry
I
on.
have 2 words.
Hang on. Pause. Is Zack Sabre Jr. and Marty Scurll your favorite tag team?
No.
No, he was gonna say F the Revival, wasn't he?
He was, totally. But I have a rebuttal to that. I have 2 words
You can
for
take
you.
your Cody Rhodes gimmick
Suck
and
it.
stick it.
No. Say yeah, damn.
Oh, fuck.
I love the Revival personally, but I think that just the Cody's gimmick, how that's his gimmick on the Indies right now, it's just so great. The indie
Yeah, for any of you out there that don't know, Cody Rhodes' gimmick on the Indies right now. I don't watch indie wrestling, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure his gimmick is literally just saying "fuck the Revival." And Cody Rhodes, fuck you, because the Revival has put on more than you ever will in your entire career. Lick my balls.
Who's
Fuck
gonna
the
be
Revival.
angry when he hears this?
The Revival will forever be more solid than you. They will
Time out.
forever put on
Time
better
out.
matches than
Okay,
you.
Money in the Bank, hello.
Let's grade this match, shall we?
I guess so, Eli. I guess we can grade this match. Wait, we didn't get to ask Nick how he felt.
Oh, okay.
about it.
Okay. Yes. Okay,
Oh,
Nick. Go
fair
ahead.
enough. No, forget.
This match, buddy.
It gave me like someone reference like DIY like Revival comparisons. It got like certain vibes. Of course, with like the close fall, I really had that vibe. It was like a Revival DIY timing, like the chemistry they have. And I think I'm glad that it's handled by Canada, so it gives like I'm not like really like satisfied with seeing it end right now already. I like the the build-up they have. It's not like from back then when the Usos were like kind of this baby face that were pushed over, that was forced to be something that they couldn't be. And now the Usos are like, they don't play around, but the New Day still is, and the Usos want to show that they're serious about this, and they don't. And suddenly the New Day comes up and they can challenge them, and they walk out. It's too much for them. So I want to see how the New Day like deals with the Usos avoiding them now.
I'm excited.
Honestly, I thought the match was a bad idea from the first place. I feel like I'm not gonna. I mean, I obviously don't regret it now because we just got a great match. But originally, I thought that it should have been Breezango versus the Usos in a second match because of how the first match ended. They kind of blue balls me on that one too. They keep on giving me blue balls.
Now watch them move like the Ascension or something just because they blue balls us on this one.
The Ascension. Why they? You know what? Let's not. That's for later, right, Eli? That's for later.
Yeah, that's for later. Let's go.
Yeah, let's give our star ratings now. For this one, excellent match. I want to give it like a 3.5 to a 3.75. However, because of the ending, I'm gonna have to lower it a little bit. New Day and Usos, you get a 3.25. What do you give this match?
I will go with your original grade, a 3.5, because as we were referring to earlier with the Carmella match, with the Money in the Bank match, excuse me, they did a heel thing. They got booed. They made you not like them for what they did. So it was a smart ending, although myself, I'm a little bit sour about it, but that's what you're supposed to do when you're a heel. You're supposed to piss people off. So I think it was great, and I'm excited to see them put on another match.
Using my own words against me, let me talk about what's different between these two matches, though, because there is a big difference, and it is that the Usos and the New Day were putting on a stellar match. The women's match was just solid. I didn't, like, it could have ended with anybody. I would have just been like, eh. Like, this match needed to have a clean ending. That match did not, especially because it's a ladder match. You're grabbing a briefcase. You're not pinning somebody. A pin is always going to be more like the exclamation point, whereas grabbing a briefcase will be nothing more than a period because you know when somebody's grabbing the briefcase. It's obvious. You can tell. You can tell the camera angle. It's literally the camera angle. When they do a certain camera angle where it's like the hard camera facing directly at the person that's about to grab the briefcase, and they get their hands on that briefcase, you know the match is over. We knew James Ellsworth was going to grab that briefcase. This match, they cut it short. I wanted more. I was left unsatisfied. I was left hungry for more. But when I say I was left hungry for more, I'm not hungry. I just want a few more bites. I don't want an entire another match, You
want the cherry on top.
Whole nother month, and we're gonna have to get a whole nother match. Hopefully, this one probably is gonna have a clean ending with the New Day winning. I'm gonna go ahead and guess. My personal hopes would be that they bring American Alpha back into the fold, and they can do Alpha and the New Day at SummerSlam. That'd be my personal. Hey, heel American Alpha, anybody? Yes, please. Personally, yes, please. Right. Mike, how many stars would you give this match?
Solid 3.5 for me.
All right, so we got two 3.5s and we got a 3.25. Nick, what do you give this match?
I give it a 3.5 and get it over with.
All right, I guess I'm the lone wolf here.
Baron Corbin.
So the general consensus of this group, I'll say majority rules in this one. This match was a 3.5, according to them, not according to me. But I digress. So after this match, we had Lana and Naomi for the SmackDown Women's title. Right from the get-go, I already knew that this match was going to pain me. Maybe not because of the wrestling, but just because of Lana's screaming. There are few people in wrestling that when they scream, it's really just like nails on chalkboards to me. And Lana is definitely one of those people. I was suffering as she started to scream. She's not a good seller either. I'm sorry, she is not ready for this match at all, especially with an athletic wrestler like Naomi, one of the most athletic people on the roster. You have The Miz. I remember an interview that The Miz. Shut up. An interview.
Excuse me.
An interview that The Miz did where he said that Naomi was hands down the most athletic person on the roster. And he probably knows better than I do because
God tells the truth. Today is day 15 of the never-ending Miz Intercontinental Title reunion tour, and you guys have to deal with it.
That's on Raw. Keep it on Raw.
Okay.
I can't wait. Yeah, we'll talk about that one tomorrow. I can't wait to fight you about The Miz, Mike. I cannot wait. But anyways, so Naomi is incredibly athletic. There's no denying that. And Lana is green as the hills. That was an original. That was an original metaphor. That was pretty good. She is green as the hills, and she had some terrible submissions as well. There was literally one submission where Naomi was sitting on the ground on her butt, and Lana was sitting on her butt, and she just grabs Naomi's leg and just kind of like bends it inwards. Now, guys, you're probably sitting in chairs right now. Just kind of like kick your legs inwards, or maybe sit on the ground, kick your leg inwards. Do you think that hurts?
How can I do that when I'm
Just
laying
pushing your leg?
Like
You're laying on the ground?
Yeah, dude.
Sit up, young man. I'm just saying, there were a lot of submissions in this match that just did not look like they hurt at all.
Let's also talk, because I don't want to talk too much about the wrestling aspect of this, because honestly, we all know what it was. It wasn't good.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing, Eli.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Lana was so green that Green County Wrestling was better than this. If you don't know what Green County Wrestling is, first of all, I don't blame you. It's a small little company. That's my friend Eli's company. You should go check that out on YouTube, guys. Green County Wrestling. That is GREENE. That's pretty green too. We might, you know what? We're gonna review GCW. We're gonna review Green County Wrestling eventually.
There is, in fact, an installment of GCW coming up on the 20th, which is tomorrow.
Ooh.
And we'll review
I'm excited for that one.
Once it's up on YouTube.
That the matches on that show will be better, or I mean, maybe not the matches, but the wrestlers on that show will be better, or at least on the level of Lana in this match. And the only impressive thing that I saw Lana do maybe was like, I mean, she had some like, she can do a decent suplex, but like, I feel like anybody would like, you could go to the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy and learn how to throw a suplex. Does that mean I deserve to fight Naomi for a world title? She has a nice kick. Like there was that one moment where like Naomi was on the apron and Lana was on the ground and she reached up and kicked her leg. I get it, you're flexible, and that's all it is. That's literally all it is though, is that she's flexible. So that's the only thing she was good at. But other than that, yeah, the match was kind of a travesty. Eli, what did you want to talk about? You said you didn't want to talk about the wrestling aspect of it.
The highlight of the match for me was Carmella.
Oh, yeah.
This is exactly what I want to see for 4 to 5 months. I want to see her cheese cash-ins. I want to see her go for a cash-in and then get clocked and then run away. I want to see stuff like this.
You know what, Eli?
I want to see what?
I disagree. But continue for right now. Continue.
No. That's about all I had to say.
Okay, well, this match was already such a mess. Can we all agree that this match was pretty messy in general? Okay, so Carmella coming out, standing there. I guess her coming out was the finish because it distracted Lana and gave Naomi time to recover.
It really took too long.
It was just, how are you going to take a mess and make it messier? There was no fluency in this match. And Carmella coming out and teasing the cash-in, while I do think it was it was a smart idea, but not for this match. Not when Naomi is fighting somebody so subpar like Lana. It needs to be a solid match. Lana can come into. I'm sorry. Carmella can come into, tease the cash in, and the match can continue, or they can actually have a finish that more obviously builds off of Carmella's inclusion into the equation. Because I didn't really realize it until after the fact that was the finish. I was just kind of like, well, gee, that was kind of like they just made Lana look really weak. But then I'm like, oh wait, they weren't trying. The reason why Lana quote unquote didn't look weak is because she was quote unquote distracted. I mean, I would argue that that's basically the end of Lana's credibility, which is why I thought that she might win this match, because it's her second match on television and it's for a title. I thought she was going to win. Maybe Carmella cashes in afterwards, but, you know, Lana's credibility is pretty much tarnished at this point, unless they can turn it around. And her gimmick is bad. Everything about her is bad. She's not excellent on the mic. She's not terrible on the mic.
I'll tell you what's good. That gear.
Oh, God. Eli, you sexist pig. We're not going to talk about that gear.
Pig.
You're sexist. You are a cisgender pig.
Can we talk about how good Naomi is, Eli? How about that? You want to talk about that instead?
I will. Yeah, she's awesome.
She's not a personal favorite, so let's just move on. Eli, say what you want.
Don't let that sexist talk. You are a sexist.
But do you agree? Do you agree? Perhaps the Carmella thing wasn't right for this specific match, but do you agree with me when I say that you want that type of stuff in the coming months?
I think it was smart. I'm not gonna lie. When I was sitting here when it happened and I popped, I was like, "Oh shit, she came out." I thought she was gonna cash in. I thought we were getting a Seth Rollins style triple threat match that Carmella would win. So the teasing is smart, but how are you going to keep? Eventually, it's gonna get to the point where Carmella comes out and I'm just expecting her to just tease me.
I don't want it to. I don't want it to happen all the time, but I want things of this nature. I think it should
happen occasionally. I think it should happen more than just this time.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it just goes to it adds to Carmella's character. I bet they wanted her to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase to make the match interesting. Unfortunately, she kind of just like made it even more confusing than it already was in the first place. The psychology behind the making of this match was confusing. The match wasn't good. It should not have happened. I was expecting to be not blown away, but I was expecting to be pleasantly surprised at the very least. Because why else, with a roster of capable women, why else would they give this briefcase? Or I'm sorry, shoot. Why else would they give a title match to Lana? You have people. Why didn't you put Lana in the briefcase match and then throw, I don't know, like Tamina in the match or Natalia or anybody, like literally anybody else, even Becky Lynch. Like, I know they're both faces, but that would have been a good match. Like, I thought that Lana was going to surprise me, but she did exactly what I thought she was going to do. Mike, how did you feel about this match?
Going into it, I was a big advocate of Lana winning, just because I wanted to see all the jabroni marks without a life that don't know it'll work when you work a work and you work yourself into a shoot marks complain about Naomi losing to someone like Lana. And I thought when Lana was going to win, I was hoping for a Carmella cash-in, but no. But it was what was that word, Eli, that was in your vocabulary? Asinine. That's what it was.
It was atrocious.
I don't even know what that word means.
Atrocious. Saying that Lana is good, that's blasphemy. That's blasphemous, Michael.
I just want to say, I'm going to expose Eli real quick. My man came in with this call with a list of vocab words to use.
I've not used any of them.
He came in ready to fight. Eli and I are not done fighting. I like fighting Eli, so we're going to continue to fight.
Until somebody is the undisputed champion of this show.
It's me, Eli.
It's gonna be me.
We can talk about that later, though, Eli, right?
Right?
Hey, Nick, what's your opinion on this? I guess you could call it a match. What's your opinion on this match?
I don't have an opinion on the match. I'm really like, this just shows for me that Lana only works as a valet, as a manager for Rusev. There is where she has credibility still, but as a wrestler, she's not ready for these kind of matches. The fact that she isn't put in the ladder match is, to me, is because I think they think Lana isn't capable of working a ladder match. She can't even work like a regular singles match, or at least not in a.
Yeah, exactly. She's barely capable of working a match in general. Is the issue right now?
Yeah, if you would put her in the ladder match, I wouldn't like trust myself to put fate of the others in her hands if she's not capable of doing that. So let's say get ladders involved. They're already dangerous enough. Get Lana in there. Oh, that's that for you, man. But
honestly, though, I'm gonna say this. I understand why they did not like some fans I've seen say, and I feel like other people might think this, maybe even people in this call, that that Lana should have gone maybe to NXT to work on her wrestling skills, to better herself. But look what happened with Eva Marie.
No.
She's been working at live events a lot.
Yeah, Lana did.
Yeah, Lana has been doing NXT live events, but like I personally would have put her on TV for the development of her character, because she is not a good character right now at all. At least Eva Marie had like a little bit of a good character, not incredible, but like in NXT, there were just better wrestlers, and they were smart enough not to put her like into any big feuds because they knew the fans would hate it, and they want NXT to be a show that the fans love. It would be the same thing for Lana. They wouldn't be able to put her into an NXT Women's Title match. They wouldn't be able to probably even put her into a match just because they're really going to start shitting on it because it's Lana. When you're on the main roster, there's already bad wrestlers here. Might as well throw in some more, right? Except putting her in a title match was an awful idea, in my opinion. As I said, it is going to butcher any momentum that she had, any momentum that she was going to have. I personally think that the best move would be maybe let her wrestle, but I still think that she has footing as Rusev's valet, because she really helps him. I'm not gonna like. I'm not sitting here saying that that's the only thing Lana's for, but it really does help Rusev. I remember when Rusev had when it was like Rusev in summer, and I think there might have been a period where Rusev was by himself. He was not the same character that he was before. I just don't think he was as entertaining without Lana.
I agree with that. I do. I think that Lana is part of the Rusev character.
Yeah. Like James Ellsworth adds a dimension to Carmella,
right.
Lana adds a dimension.
That's just the game Rusev. That's just the game of a manager / valet. They give you another layer to your character, and I think Rusev would be capable without having Lana at ringside all the time. But
Rusev's gonna be fun.
Oh, Rusev's awesome. I think Rusev should be pushed to the moon, but
should be world champion.
Yeah, honestly, but I think having Lana there just makes it that much better. And I think, and my question coming out of this match is not who Naomi's going to be up against next. Is that, do you think they're going to trust Lana with another match with a Carmella who's far less talented in the ring? Because I feel like that's where this is going, which I'm not excited for.
You know, that's actually an excellent point. Do you trust Lana in the ring with a worker like Carmella, with a worker like, I know they aren't on the same show right now, but like Alexa Bliss, who, you know, they're excellent characters. They can put on a good to decent feud, but in the ring, that would just be a mess. If you thought that Naomi can put on good matches. If you thought that Naomi and Lana was a mess, just doesn't. Honestly, maybe the best route is to give Lana a program with somebody like Charlotte. Now, I believe that Charlotte is above that, but if anybody can make Lana look at least decent, it would be Charlotte. Because I think that Charlotte is the most consistent female wrestler on the roster right now. She looks the best. She's the most fluent. She looks like she. That's the thing that like. does not necessarily look like she belongs in a ring just because of how green she is. She's not very fluent. Charlotte looks like she belongs there. She knows what she's doing. She looks like she could put on a match with any person on the roster, male or female, and give them the fight of their life. No joke. She looks that good in the ring at all times. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's all to say about this match. If I were to give it a star rating, I would give it I guess a 1 because it wasn't as bad as Sting versus Jeff Hardy.
That was the greatest match of the time. I do not know what you were talking about.
The -5-star classic. I mean, I'll give it a 1. I'll give it a 1. They wrestled the match. They most certainly wrestled the match. I cannot deny that.
Podcast so far.
It's gonna be the lowest rating that night too. That's for sure. Unless we're because Cuck Boy McGee and Maria might take that one. But that's for that should be a catchphrase at this point. That should be a catchphrase. That's for later. Is our new catchphrase.
It's actually next. It's actually next. But
it is. Yeah, it is next. I swear to God, we're gonna talk about that one. I swear to God. But anyways, Eli, give this bad boy.
I will also give it a 1. I have nothing to say.
No comment. You know what? Honestly, everybody just save your comments. Let's just hear how many stars you're getting to give this thing. Mike, how many stars?
0.75.
We've dipped below 1, ladies and gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
How about you?
1.
All right, so I guess the general consensus is that this match deserves a 1. Obviously and clearly. Lana, if you're listening, which you most certainly are not.
No, she is.
We know you're listening, Lana. Get better, champ. I believe in you. Just kidding.
She's not the champ anyway.
So next, we have the commentators. They're having a decent conversation, and then this weird ass song comes on, and then Maria and Michael Kanellis. You heard me right, folks.
Kanellis.
Let me say it again.
Kanellis.
Let me say it again
Come
in case you did not hear. Mike Kanellis and Maria come out to the ring looking like they're about to sell me a timeshare. Looking like they're about to give me a it literally looked like the beginning of a YouTube, like you look up on YouTube, find a relationship, and you click on the video and those are the people there. He's like smelling her hair and like he's just a weird, like that was such a weird. And why did he take the last name? What an absolute cuckold.
Could they not like use Bennett? Was that not like allowed, or is it their choice?
You know, actually, dude, was she Maria Bennett in TNA?
No, she was Maria Kanellis Bennett.
Yeah.
They should have done that. If there was an issue with TNA, sometimes it's just smart to give money when it matters. You have to spend money to make money.
Sorry,
you're not selling any. You're not selling me on Maria and Mike Kanellis. That's for sure.
You're not. Whenever I first heard that when the Miracle Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis Bennett were coming to WWE, I was intrigued. I didn't know too much about Mike and Maria for that matter, but I thought that he could bring a certain dynamic to the male roster, and she could either work as a great valet for him or even wrestle decent for the women's division. But when I saw what I saw tonight, I will be cringing in every segment that they're on television.
I don't even know I don't know what they're doing with them is the thing. I don't
know what they're
doing. Absolutely cringeworthy. Talk about like fingernails on a chalkboard. Maria's voice was just absolutely killing me. But I don't know what they're doing. It almost made it seem like Mike Bennett is gonna, or I'm sorry, Mike Kanellis is gonna be more of a valet.
That's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like Maria was the main focus, and I think Mike Bennett should be the main focus because I think he has potential to do something.
Hold on, you sexist. Hold on.
Yeah, Eli, you sexist pig.
Hold
like
on,
this
let me
one
say
yet.
something. Eli picked up a bad gimmick real fast. Let
I
me
don't
s-
like that.
Obviously, I don't think that's gonna happen because I think that Mike Kanellis, kind of say Mike Bennett. I think that Mike Bennett. Okay, now I can't even say the name.
Benellis,
I
Mike
think
Benellis.
that I think that Mike Benellis is a talented wrestler, and I do not think he would have signed on if he was not going to be wrestling matches. So I don't think that's the case. They'll probably both be wrestling, or if one of them's wrestling, it's going to be Mike. Because did Maria even wrestle in TNA?
She was the Knockouts champion for a brief amount of time. So correct.
Okay, so she did a bit of wrestling, but I'm sure they're both going to be doing wrestling. But
I'm sure
honestly, what?
I'm sure one of them is going to squash them. I think for a period of time, it's going to be kind of like a squash type deal where they just squash somebody, and then that dumb song plays, and they kiss and they spin each other,
Dude,
and then that's what's going to happen.
With that gimmick, though, that's absolutely awful. I honestly could see it being a Kurt Hawkins kind of situation.
You
Oh,
think?
you thought Kurt Hawkins was coming back to be successful? Oh, you were wrong.
I never thought that ever.
I thought he was coming back to at least be okay. I thought he was at least coming back to be a mid-carder, at least. And I don't think Mike Bennett is ever going to penetrate the top tier level. He's probably going to be a mid-carder. Will he do a bit of squashing? Maybe. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he got stuck with Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn has to lose to him because that's what he does so damn well.
But we'll get to
promo
that.
was just weird. But I actually wanted to say, we're talking about maybe is there going to be a valet in this situation? It would be very, very, very interesting to see a woman wrestler with a male valet. Oh wait, I'm sorry. They already have that with Carmella and James Ellsworth. Point removed. Never mind. I was about to be like, yeah, that's really good. Reverse the rules, but then I realized that they're already doing that right now. And I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think Mike Bennett is the right person to do that. You want to do it with somebody who can't wrestle, not a great wrestler at all. But Maria can wrestle. Mike Bennett can wrestle. They should both be wrestling. But yeah, I mean,
I think they definitely will be. I don't think they're going to go the valet gimmick with Mike. I'm confused to say the least. I think we're going to get more of what they're doing on SmackDown on Tuesday. Yeah. But I'd like to see them make an impact. But at the same time, I don't know if I want it to be in this way. Exactly.
Terrible.
Yeah. Like they just they're advertising for eHarmony and how much they love each other because of eHarmony.
It did.
That's not what I want.
Yes, it sounded, and especially the microphones really added to that effect too.
That was so weird. They came out with them on their neck, and I was like, "What are they doing?" I saw the hearts, and I went, "Oh my god, it's Mike and Maria." And I went, "This is interesting." And then I saw on the Titantron Mike and Maria Kanellis, and I went, "Oh my lord!"
It was a train wreck before they even. It was a train wreck before it started.
They're going to be the new Miz and Marisa SmackDown Live.
I was actually just about to say you're going to be. We're all going to be cheering when it's Maria and Mike Kanellis versus John Cena and Nikki Bella at SummerSlam, baby. But wait and watch.
But no one can compare to God himself and his wife.
You know what, Mike? A lot of people can compare. A lot of people are better. John Cena and Nikki Bella, better. But we can talk about that on Monday.
Later.
Put it on a t-shirt. Okay.
Let's not grade this one. I think we all have question marks for this.
Yeah, it's just a big old fat question mark. Let's talk about, speaking of big old fat question marks, well, I get one of big old fat snooze fests. Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Jesus Christ. This was the wrestling equivalent to NyQuil. I swear to God. I actually started my notes on a positive. I said, and I quote, "Good aggression from Randy." Do you know what happened after I wrote "good aggression from Randy"? I was exposed to a match that felt like it went on for 40 minutes. I don't know how long it went on. Extremely predictable. extremely just boring. Neither of these men are entertaining wrestlers. It's just absolutely. Oh, I can't say enough about. I can't say anything about this match just because.
Okay.
Every single match with these two is this boring. Every single Jinder Mahal. Name me a Jinder Mahal match that has been good.
You can't.
That has been entertaining. When's the last time Randy Orton has had an entertaining match? Don't tell me it was his terrible match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. That was a joke.
Fuck.
Luke Harper elimination. Because it was Luke Harper.
Fuck, you're right, Eli. That was a good match, actually. But yeah, exactly. Because it was Luke Harper. If Randy Orton's in the ring with somebody as talented as Luke Harper, he can put on a good match. If it's anybody on Randy Orton's level or below, and I'd say that Jinder's probably below, it's going to be a stink fest. They're both solid, quote unquote solid, but I will not sit here. I have to talk about the fact that Randy Orton is the one that was shitting on the indie wrestlers. He's one of those bingo hall guys. Like, oh, you wrestle in a bingo hall, so you're not as good. I'm packing the house. Like, dude, nobody finds you entertaining like that, bro. Indie wrestling is not popular because it's not the WWE. If you brought these wrestlers to the WWE, they'd be as popular as Sami Zayn, as Kevin Owens, as AJ Styles. When Randy Orton disrespects indie wrestling like that, and again, I don't watch indie wrestling, but I can at least say that it definitely has a purpose in the wrestling industry. When you disrespect indie wrestling like that, you're disrespecting Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, all these incredible wrestlers that, guess what, buddy, had better matches than you tonight. Better matches than you tonight.
Yeah,
it's not about flips. It's not about dives. Look at Shinsuke. He's not about dives. He's just a good-ass, hard-hitting brawler.
Yeah, to add on, there's this one wrestler, I think he's a god himself. Oh, what's his name? He wrestles bare. Oh, Matt Riddle. God.
Do you want to tell this tale again, or do you want me to leave right now?
No, we'll save that for a Trent Seven episode.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh.
I don't know who Trent Seven is. I don't know. I've seen one match. Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie. The new wave is like amateur wrestlers, bro. I'm telling you, amateur wrestlers always make good pro wrestlers. But you know what that is, Eli? That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this match real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I think whenever you put this storyline of a match, the psychology of a match on paper with wrestler A and wrestler B, just two random wrestlers, it could be done good. It could be done well. It could be done perhaps excellent. But whenever it's Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal, it just doesn't work. Those two, they'll never put on an entertaining match, and I'm happy the feud is over. But I'm pissed at the same time because Jinder Mahal is still our WWE champion. And there's people out there, whatever he won at Backlash, they were saying, well, you're mad because the heel won, so they did a good job. No, that's not why I'm mad. That's not why most of the wrestling fans are mad. It's because of the fact that Jinder Mahal is not entertaining and shouldn't be at the level that he's at right now in kayfabe.
Fact. That is here. This is also my biggest qualm with the match. Why is Jinder the American-hating heel? This is just backhanded logic from Vince McMahon. Jinder Mahal is the American-hating heel, right? He's done it time and time again, the last example being Rusev. It's not bad. It's always going to get heat. I get it. But you can't be the American-hating heel. And then they're showing the video package, and it's like, Jinder Mahal's a hero in India. You know what you're doing, Vince McMahon? You're making it seem like everybody in India is a bunch of douchebags. You're saying that they're cheering this American-hating douchebag, so we should hate India. That is such terrible logic. I get it. I get the reason you gave Jinder Mahal the title is so you can appease your Indian market. But you should not bring that up. Just do it. Just appease them. Make them happy. You don't have to. That's like doing somebody for that's like, oh, I just gave a homeless person $5, and then I'm walking down the street, and every single person I run into, I'm like, I just gave a homeless person $5. I just gave a homeless person $5. Blah 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 blah. Because he's literally just bragging about the fact that, like, look at me expand my Indian market. But Jinder Mahal hates America, so should we hate India because that's where Jinder Mahal's from? That's their hero. If he's the hero of India, then we should hate India because he's our villain.
India turned heel.
That's just dumb logic. India is the first ever heel country, bro. The whole country of
No,
India.
it's not Muhammad Hassan in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, right.
That's why I'm telling you right now. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. Sami Zayn should be the Middle Eastern representative. I don't care if he looks Middle Eastern. People love him over there. Go read all the articles about how big Sami Zayn is over there. People know he's Middle Eastern. They know he's. I believe he's Syrian. I believe.
Yeah, Syrian.
Especially right now, I know that Vince McMahon and Triple H and all those dumbasses support Donald Trump. This isn't a politics show, so we're not going to talk about that. But it's the perfect political statement right now to give Sami Zayn of Syria. I mean, he's not from Syria, but his parents are immigrants from Syria into Canada. And now with Donald Trump going for this Muslim ban, that was perfect. Sami Zayn is a good guy. Everybody loves him. That was perfect. You're just making all of India look like villains. And not to mention that they're trying to expand their Middle Eastern, all of their Middle Eastern market. I understand that India has a crazy big population, which they made sure to let us know, 1.3 billion. Thanks, Vince. I didn't know that it was 1.3 billion, but, I really appreciate it, bro. That's all I got to say about that. I just think that it's backhanded logic. It's just it's Vince McMahon is trying to do too many things at once. He's trying to have the American hating heel at the same time as he's trying to expand his foreign markets. It's just those two things are clashing. They do not work together. Eli, how do you feel about this?
I agree. I can't even put into words how I really feel about this whole situation right now. Because Jinder isn't the guy that you want to put this on. Because I get that he got jacked and he's a good worker. But a big part of pro wrestling is that you either have to appeal to the fans or you have to be respected by the fans. Even if you're getting booed out of the building, there's a level of respect because you're a talented character and or wrestler. Jinder Mahal isn't at that level yet. He's not at that respected yet hated level because people are booing him because they're like, oh, who the hell is this guy? Why is he here? Whenever there's other guys on the roster that could be in the same spot.
I mean, he was slingshot. What's the past tense of slingshot into the main event?
Slingshot of that word.
He was cast very quickly into the main event. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
Reigns, way quicker than Reigns.
The dude was in a gimmick where they were playing air guitars a few years ago and stuff.
Exactly, and then he was gone. And then he came back and he was a jobber, losing to Sami Zayn every week, losing to this person every week, that person every week.
Tagging with Rusev.
Exactly, yeah, a tag team with Rusev where they lost every single one of their matches. You can't, at least a guy like Roman Reigns had that build. Was it fast? You could argue it was pretty fast, but he had that build. He was very relevant in the Shield. He was very relevant post the Shield. Ready to win the title. You might not like it as a fan, but he was ready to win. Jinder Mahal was not ready at all. You want to personally speaking, here's how I would have done it. Have Randy Orton have the title. Wait for Rusev to come back. Have Rusev win the title. Have Jinder if you're gonna have him being an American hating heel, why don't you have him win the U.S. title? Basically, do with Jinder what you're doing with Rusev, and do with Rusev what you're currently doing with Jinder. Put the U.S. title on Jinder. Put the world title on Rusev. I don't care. Rusev deserves the world title more. He's entertaining. Like Eli said, I have respect for Rusev. He's not necessarily one of my favorites, but I can at least admit that he's a great heel. Maybe not the best in the ring, but he's still a solid worker. He's boring in the ring. Maybe like on the same level as Rusev, but his character is just cut and repeat of every single Middle Eastern heel that Vince McMahon has ever conjured up.
Not even just Middle Eastern.
Plenty of them. Exactly. Any four, like Rusev, for example.
You look at Vladimir Kozlov, it's the exact same thing. He has no charisma. The talent in the ring is shaky at best, and he's not over and or respected by the fans.
Yeah, and what is that an equation for? If you add all those things up, what do you get? It equals boring. Randy Orton, boring. These two in a match together, boring. Enough said. Mike, how did you feel about this match?
Terrible. Just terrible. That's all I say.
Mike was pretty out of it. I was watching the show with him. He was kind of out of it during the match. I was out of it during the match. It was very, very hard.
My mind was on many different things during that match.
Exactly. My mind was on different things just because I wanted to think about something else. I just didn't want to think about that shitty match that was unfolding before my very eyes, unfortunately. Finally, Nick, how did you feel about this match?
Oh god, I don't know how to feel about it after all. I mean, it's Jinder and Randy Orton. If you would have told me a few years ago that those two would be fighting for the WWE Championship, I would have laughed in your face. And still do right now, because they're both guys. They don't get me warm for the championship. Never will. I mean, you can argue, you can maybe make Jinder a heel, a great heel that gets heel heat, but against a guy that's Randy that is stale as fuck, you'll never get that interesting face dynamic that you're like, oh, I don't like this guy, this Jinder Mahal. It's just like you don't care about Randy, you don't care about Jinder, and it's not helping the championship, because when I see a WWE Championship match, I want to get invested from the start until the end, because it's the championship, the biggest, most prestigious championship in the business, and they give it to someone like Jinder Mahal. His win-loss record is still, 28 against 400, maybe?
Probably somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
That could be right there, and that's something, that's the WWE champion right now. And then I was looking at the start of the match. You have all these legends in the front row. Randy Orton is fighting in his hometown. You're like, right. They're going to spit. Oh, you guys on the internet are complaining about the legacy being tarnished. Here, we'll put some Hall of Famers, some former WWE Championship in the front row, and let Jinder Mahal win it. So you can spit in the face of those legends. And the fact that Randy is in his hometown losing in front of his dad, let's spit in that as well. And just give Jinder the win and move on from there.
Yo, Vince McMahon really has a fetish for using people's dads for storylines. I swear to God.
Yeah, I said this earlier. Remember, Eli? You remember when Randy Orton attacked John Cena's dad or whatever?
That happened twice actually, and the one time he punted him. Or he punted him both times. I don't remember. I don't know. Another fetish that Vince has is having people lose in their hometown as of late.
Zack Ryder's dad. Let's not forget about Zack's dad.
No, that was
yeah.
It's by Maurice, actually.
Let me just say something about that. You want to know why Zach's dad was so godly for that? Because you want to know what happened that night?
No, Mike, I do not want to know what happened that night. But go ahead. Go ahead.
It was the night the Maurice return, and it also started reign number 5 of the Miz's Intercontinental title reigns.
I love that he knows the specific number.
We're really setting up our gimmicks here. I'm gonna hate this one. I can't wait to talk about The Miz. I don't think he's bad, but we'll talk about it.
Would we like to grade this one, because we are getting quite lengthy with this?
Oh yeah,
Almost 8 a.m.
that's probably a good idea. But I have to say this match wasn't bad.
Like I
It
said,
wasn't a bad. It was the show. I said we're gonna review Money in the Bank. This match basically kind of encompassed what the entire show was. Not bad, not great. Me personally, I would give it 2 stars. Eli, what would you give it?
I'm gonna give it 2.5 because, like I said just a little bit ago, you put wrestler A, wrestler B with the psychology and the storytelling of this match. You could get me invested, but not with these two. It just doesn't work like that with Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. So 2.5 is my rating.
I feel you, Mike. What would you rate this?
1.75 from me.
And Nick, what would you rate it?
1.75. Basically, because at least Jinder is trying, but I don't feel like Randy's into it. Never shows it, but
Fuck
Randy.
A good effort. I don't know. I just want to say, like, the ending of that match was so predictable.
That was
as
stupid.
soon as the Singh brothers, and that's what their name is, started messing with Randy's dad. I already knew it was gonna happen. Randy's gonna come out, attack them, get back in the ring. Jinder has plenty of time to recover. He's gonna hit his finisher. Boom. I'm actually surprised went exactly how I planned it. I thought at least Randy would have countered at least something, like counter his finisher and then do an RKO and maybe have him kick out of that. Like, I don't know. Like, they could have done something to throw a little bit of excitement into the mix, but it was just the basic formula for any heel versus face match, especially when there's a dad involved and when there's a American hating heel involved.
And WWE Logic.
Okay, question.
Wait, hold on. What, Mike?
WWE Logic, when both men were out of the ring for like a good 5 solid minutes and no count out, the ref didn't count at all, and they should enter a double count.
Oh yeah, the ref's out there. The ref's loving it. I think that's one of the things that we said we're going to talk about. So thank you, Mike. He was out there for a very long time. They both were. That's a count out, bro. That is a count out.
Double count out, like no.
Was it Kyoto? No, isn't that? Yeah, Kyoto. He was not on his game. Senior referee, my ass.
This is why we love Little Nate.
Little Nate is my boy.
No. Little Nate let Zack Ryder win on the pre-show. I'm not cool with that. I was pissed. I was pissed at everyone involved in that match because the Hype Bros won. But we're not talking about that match.
And we won't be talking about that later.
Yeah, that is something we're going to skip over because it'll be good for our souls.
It's actually already done.
I don't want to hurt myself. Eli, what you said a question of some sort?
Yeah, where do you think Jinder goes after this? Like, who do you think he's paired with? I know the rumor's Cena, but that's not till July 4th, so they're just gonna have him squashing people.
There's still a Battleground pay-per-view, correct?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah. I hope it's a Punjabi prison match between Randy and him.
Oh God!
Christ. If we get another Randy Orton Jinder Mahal match, especially with the stipulation of Punjabi prison, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I really would not know what to do with myself. I wouldn't watch it, first off.
And then the Great Khali returns.
Dude.
Oh, no.
That would be amazing.
I don't know. Maybe you put Jinder with Sami Zayn.
I would like that, but
I would not. Let me tell you why I wouldn't like that is because it'll be the exact same thing that happened last year. Because Sami will probably lose to Jinder, and then going into SummerSlam, he's not going to have a program, and then he's going to be off the card or on the pre-show again. And Sami Zayn, I am sick and tired of having him on the pre-show or just completely off the cards of these big shows. Like at WrestleMania, he was put into the Battle Royal. Last year at SummerSlam, he tagged with Neville to beat the Dudley Boys. I don't care if he wins or loses. He needs to be on the main card in a relevant feud because he's that damn good. But I'll save the Sami Zayn. We can save the Sami Zayn circle for some other time. Maybe for tonight's match because he did some impressive things. Speaking of the main event. Wait, no. I almost forgot about it because what happened next was so terrible that I didn't write about it in my notes. So out of the blue, we get a new like Fashion Files Breezango thing, but it's called like Fashion Vice. And
That was awful.
they get like a VHS tape, and it's obviously the Ascension and Shadows saying with the deep voices like, "Oh, you're fooling us. I really didn't think it was gonna be the Ascension. Wow." And lo and behold, I think that was the Fashion Files or whatever it's called. That was actually like a while before. That was like maybe 2 segments before this.
Yeah.
And then so the match happens after the Randy and Jinder match, and the best part, I think the thing that beautifully encompasses this match was the fact that when the Ascension came out after Breezango, Byron Saxton just tried his darndest to sell excitement. He goes, "Whoa." that was literally the Ascension music hits. Whoa. That was the only reaction. The only reaction that commentary gave. Oh, were you not expecting the Ascension? Oh, okay. I should have been expecting it. I mean, I shouldn't have been expecting it, bro. That was absolutely incredible. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm on my brain is kind of getting frazzled speaking about all this terrible wrestling.
Let's skip over this. This isn't
the match was
The only thing
that noise. That noise was the match.
Exactly. Basically, that was me during the match. I just powered off.
The only thing Aiden had to say about the match is that Connor got fat, apparently, but I wasn't paying too much attention because I didn't care.
Connor got thick, boys. I said Connor's looking heavy. His workout plan was probably McDonald's and weights and bench pressing. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. McDonald's and bench pressing, because it's not like he isn't muscular. It's not like he's like fat. He just like, my man is thick now. Okay, he's thick. The Ascension is so underutilized, guys. I miss the NXT Ascension badasses that were just destructive. The new team. I mean, my brother still belittles me to this day because I suggested that when the Ascension debuted, I believe at the time the Usos were the tag champs, and I said the Usos are going to be Ascension food. That was the exact words I used. The minute they debuted, they were basically below mid-card, and now they're just nothing more than curtain-jerking jobbers.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Their first match was against God and Mizdow, right?
I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, it wasn't against God and Mizdow. It was against the Miz and Mizdow, though.
Miz is God, sir.
Later. All right, yeah. You know what? Forget the star rating on this one. Forget the star rating. Eli, were you saying something?
All right, let's go. I was gonna say let's move to the main event.
Oh yeah, please. Let's move to the main event, which was obviously, as any of you probably could have guessed, the highlight of the show. I'm gonna try to not do what I did before. I'm gonna try to nail all the names. First take: Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do it again. Kevin Owens. I got it, guys. I got it. Don't worry. Kevin Owens was most definitely there. And he was the one taking all the bumps, too. I wrote 0 notes for this match, and that is an indication that I was loving every second of it. There were some incredible spots. Let's talk about Sami Zayn hitting the sunset power bomb on Dolph Ziggler, flipping over the top of the ladder. What do you like?
I was convinced he tore his ACL because he landed right on the instep of his.
He landed very similarly to what Seth Rollins did to destroy his leg. So thank God he's not hurt. I honestly, for some reason, ever since Sami Zayn hurt his shoulder back in that match with John Cena, I always just have this impression that he's injury prone, but he really isn't. He hasn't been hurt since then. There were some other like the phenomenal forearm off the ladder onto Sami. The spot where Kevin Owens took the bump into the ladder. AJ Styles taking the choke slam into the ladder. What else was there? There was some great stuff.
There was a zigzag off the ladder, which I mean,
zigzag off the ladder.
Oh, how are we forgetting about AJ falling off of the briefcase.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was definitely one of the coolest. I mean, that was incredible.
It looked so violent.
That was amazing.
There's a few moments that leave me speechless in the WWE, but that was one. I was like,
it honestly
crazy.
It honestly looked so painful that I thought it was not intentional that he fell.
No, I thought he just slipped. I thought somebody was supposed to like catch him and like in a power bomb or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe like Kevin Owens would come underneath. I don't know where Kevin Owens was at the match, but like I don't know. That was absolutely crazy. I love the fact that Dolph Ziggler was smiling the entire time.
Oh yeah, he was loving it.
But I would have to say that the most special moment of the match, not because it wasn't a spot. I guess you could call it a spot, but it wasn't like it wasn't a spot monkey spot. It was just a very, very cool moment. The stare down between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. As some of you smarks would know, they have some history in New Japan. Had a classic match, some would call. I haven't. Sorry, I don't watch the indies. Hey, but if they wrestled right now, I would love it. They had a lot of chemistry. As soon as they locked eyes, you could just the energy of the match just shifted. All attention was on them, and I love the fact that they moved the ladder instead of just going to climb up. Like they want to fight. They have that kind of chemistry. They have that kind of tension. That kind of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens tension. I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're enemies like that, but you know the one thing that I found odd though is that on SmackDown, they were buddy, but they were looking at each other like this was this was Shinsuke's first match. Like this was Shinsuke's debut or something. It's like the first time he's locking eyes with AJ Styles since joining. But like they had a backstage segment together. They had tag team matches together. Like I don't know if it was necessarily like psychology wise, it might not have made the most sense, but like it was definitely a cool moment. There's no denying that.
It definitely was. One thing I like to talk about is how Baron Corbin took out Shinsuke before the match, and at that point I'm like, oh, Baron's not going to win. But that's besides the point.
That had me sweating the entire match because I'm sorry, I like Shinsuke Nakamura. I think he's a top 10 wrestler in the company, but it is not time for him to hold that briefcase. Definitely not.
I was scared as well, but the thing I was going to say is that the other 5 made me forget that Shinsuke was even involved. It was that entertaining.
Yep. That match was pretty long. That match went over 30 minutes too.
It was on the dot. It was 29 minutes 45 seconds. Oh,
okay, close to 30 minutes. It felt like a long time, but unlike the Jinder and the Randy match, which felt like a long time, like this match felt like a long time, but it actually was entertaining me every single step of the way. And I get this special kind of anxiety when it comes to a Money in the Bank ladder match. Because I always have a favorite in the match, and I always think my favorite's gonna win. A la Sami Zayn, I thought he had a definite shot. Especially, yes, I thought that Baron Corbin's odds of winning were lessened by the fact that he took out Shinsuke because maybe they were moving into a Shinsuke Baron Corbin program going into maybe even SummerSlam if they wanted to take it that far. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that program still might as well happen because Mr. Money in the Bank isn't a champion. He just needs somebody to have a good feud with. They could do that in the SummerSlam. I wouldn't mind that, except, I don't know, I kind of want Baron Corbin looking strong. You could have Sami Zayn continue his feud with Baron Corbin because Sami has a lot of wins over him, and he could be like, I want to prove that I'm better than you and that I deserve to win, especially if you saw the look on Sami Zayn's face at the end of that match when he's sitting there. I don't know, dude. I feel like something's about to change with Sami Zayn. Something is changing with him for the better. At this moment, I wouldn't say it's a heel turn, but I definitely feel like he's going to start getting some more edge to his character, kind of like the edge he had in his feud with Neville back in NXT.
I'm very excited for Sami Zayn's future, and I feel like that look on his face was very real. I feel like that's how he actually felt. I feel like that's how Rami Sabat actually felt, and not Sami Zayn. Like, oh my god, this guy won. This is actually happening. But I'm not mad at the result. The only result I would have been mad at was Dolph Ziggler winning, and I'm very thankful that didn't happen.
I wouldn't even be mad at Dolph. I would have been mad at Shinsuke because it's too early, and I wouldn't have been mad, but I would have been indifferent towards AJ Styles winning because
he doesn't need it.
He's having so much success right now. He doesn't need the briefcase. In my opinion, the two people that deserve to win the most out of anybody were I should also say Kevin Owens. I wouldn't have liked to see him win because he's already holding the U.S. title. But I thought Baron should have won or Sami should have won. Obviously, Sami Zayn being my favorite wrestler, I would have liked to see him win. I think he might have deserved it more because of the lack of accolades that he has as opposed to somebody like Baron Corbin, who is in his debut match, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Oh, how could we forget about that?
Exactly, right? I mean, he beat Shaq, for Christ's sake. And that was what, 2 years ago? So I mean, he hasn't been around for a long time either. Sami Zayn has been around for a bit longer and on the main roster has done little to nothing. His greatest accomplishment was beating Kevin Owens in a feud, but a few months later, Kevin Owens won the Universal title, and then he was beating Sami Zayn on Raw. So Sami Zayn, I mean, right now, I would say that he's on a wave of momentum because he just won like 4 matches in a row before this, which is something that, like, I don't know, if you looked at every single match he's wrestled on the main roster so far, I'm pretty sure he's never won that many matches in a row. And everybody else in that match lost too. It's not like just Sami lost. Shinsuke Nakamura, who's still going to be hot coming out of this match, he lost.
It's like
AJ Styles lost. Money in the Bank, you can lose that match.
Yeah, Money in the Bank, it's like the Royal Rumble. It's like you're not going to lose momentum from losing.
It's
like
not
you're still going to look good.
Yeah, it's not about who loses the match. It's about who wins. But I don't know. I still would like to know what Vince McMahon and what creative thinks of Sami Zayn, because sometimes I just I don't know. Because he does because he has this goofy persona that he has in backstage segments. But he's also the guy that lasts 45 minutes in the Royal Rumble, and the guy that has all these incredible spots. And he was the baby face that was teased to win the match. AJ Styles and Shinsuke are also baby faces, but they kind of canceled each other out in a way at the end. At the end, I thought that Sami Zayn had a chance at winning just because of the fact that he didn't really get taken out. I mean, he got
Kinshasa.
Yeah, he did, but so did Baron Corbin.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I thought with Baron coming in and taking those two out, I was like, oh shit, Sammy's next. He's coming in. He's gonna win, but it just never happened.
Yeah, and Sammy that's the issue that I had, that Sammy was I don't know. I feel like that might be part of the development of his character, the way that Sammy was looking at Baron Corbin, just with that look of just hatred on his face. Because if he was wiped out, he wouldn't have been able to kind of portray that emotion. So maybe he was left untouched for a while so he could have that kind of reaction. They could take a note of that reaction. But
right.
you know what's funny about the Money in the Bank ladder match is that everybody climbs that ladder so slowly, but when they're going to win the match, they just scale that shit. Baron Corbin's he climbed. I'm pretty sure there was moments in the match where he climbed it and he was going slow as all hell. But as soon as he's winning the match, he just up, grabs the. I mean, he struggled to grab the briefcase. He didn't know how to. He had it unhooked. He just didn't know that he had to lift it out. You gotta kind of push upward, up and out, Baron, up and out. Come on, buddy. You'd think that you'd think that they'd considering that they know ahead of time that they're going to win the match. You'd think that they'd ask, hey, how do you unhook this? Because he was really struggling up there.
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger, WrestleMania 26. I swear to you, I was 11 years old. I swear I sat there and watched a minute and a half of Jack Swagger batting this fucking briefcase around while nobody else was moving, and he couldn't get it. and then I buy the DVD. And I'm like, oh, this is the best part, and they edited it out. Of course, it went from camera angle to camera angle. He unhooked it, but everybody who watched that shit live knew he couldn't unhook it for a minute and a half.
I have to watch that later.
And the time that Baron took, I almost thought it was intentional. I thought he was giving time for Sami Zayn to get up and get onto the ladder or something. Like I couldn't tell, but it's a camera angle, bro. I'm telling you, there's this certain. It's the hard shot going straight forward right at the ladder. Like I said before, whenever that camera angle goes on, that person's winning the match. Because they want the best footage for when they have to make their video package for whatever. You all like the angles tell the stories ahead before the stories tell the stories sometimes, and that was just one of the scenarios. But anyways, excellent match.
It was awesome. It was everything you could have asked for in a Money in the Bank ladder match. There was great spots, great storytelling.
I don't necessarily think that Baron Corbin is going to be an excellent holder of this briefcase, which is why I hope that if he does cash in, I hope it's like relatively soon. Hell, he could, he kind of has this like in it for himself personality. I wouldn't even mind if he just straight up went and beat Jinder for it, just like within the next like month or so.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. It's a heel or not, a heel or face.
That's just it's the lone wolf character.
Yeah, and that's fine.
That I would much, much, much rather see Baron Corbin going into SummerSlam as champion than Jinder, because I don't want to see John Cena versus Jinder. I don't care. I mean, that'd probably be the best option for Jinder Mahal, but it'd be like John Cena versus Rusev 2.0. Like, I don't need to see that again. Please no. I would much rather have Baron Corbin as champion. Just Baron Corbin's issue is that he's not good on the mic. He looks like a badass. He wrestles like a badass. He does not sound like a badass, which was Roman Reigns' issue for a while, but I feel like Roman's gotten a lot better at saying what he needs to say and just leaving it at that. Literally, at least Roman's voice sounds badass. He just kind of like said things that gave off like a weird vibe. Like Baron Corbin sounds like a kid most of the time. I swear to God, his voice is a little bit higher than. He has a pretty high voice, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, and he has zilch, nada charisma. Zero charisma. He is I would argue he's kind of a charisma vacuum, honestly. Decent in the ring, decent heel. I don't see, but I don't necessarily like I already said that, like, I thought he was one of the people that should have won, but I don't get why people love him so much.
Yeah, I think he's improved leaps and bounds ever since he's got on the main roster. For sure.
That's for sure.
But I hope this Money in the Bank run makes him a little bit more credible. Like, he's credible, but I don't think that he's that fully entertaining as a total package yet. And I think that's what you need in a champion. Yeah,
I mean, I would much rather have him over Jinder, that's for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. But I'm just saying that's like if you're grading that, Jinder's an F champion, and I feel like Baron would be like a C.
I would agree with that. He's average. He's all around, except for his charisma, which I would probably fail him in. Like, he's just an all around average.
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. And I wouldn't mind Baron as champion. I would prefer him over Jinder, but you still want somebody that's better than Baron, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Nick, how did you feel about this Money in the Bank ladder match?
It was everything that was like the match that needed at least to be good to get this pay-per-view up, because the entire pay-per-view has been, I don't know, a drag on. Like, just let it be over with. I'm done with this. I've seen like so many stuff that I was let down by, and then I was like, oh, this match is actually pretty good. And so it did. And I feel like most of the spots was like Sammy and Kevin trying to kill each other, and I think they're going to do that until one of them actually dies. That is my prediction of it. They'll keep doing it.
Oh yeah, the half and half. It legitimately seemed like the half and half on the apron. It legitimately seemed like Kevin didn't want to take it. Like, just the actual person not wanting to take the spot, but he had to, because I don't know. It just seemed crazy to me that they just were beating the shit out of each other still with every spot.
I love it, bro. I love it when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fight, dude. They don't have to. They don't have to wrestle in matches. Give me that. Give them like at least 2 to 3 years apart where they don't wrestle each other, and then capitalize on your WrestleMania match. I don't care. Like I would love to see it be the main event or like at least a world title match. Like I think that'd be an incredible moment. But like they need to have their WrestleMania moment in a match, one-on-one match together at some point.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I think it'll happen eventually. Every like great every great feud always seems to have like a WrestleMania moment.
Mm-hmm.
Did John Cena and Randy Orton ever have a Mania match?
They had a triple threat with Triple H.
Well, then again, that wasn't a great match. I mean, that wasn't a great feud. I mean, it was a very long feud, and they've had a lot of matches. But I wouldn't argue that it's a great like when John Cena and Randy Orton are beating each other up. Like nobody really gets. You know what? I'm pretty sure the last feud they had together, or at least one of the latest feuds, John Cena literally said to Randy Orton, "You look like an old man who just pooped himself." I kid you not. That is how bad. Like, imagine Sami Zayn saying to Kevin Owens, "You look like an old man who just pooped himself."
No.
That is terrible. I'm sorry. John Cena and Randy Orton probably will go down as one of the best That's the word I was looking for. Rivalries. There we go. It'll probably go down as one of the best rivalries of all time. But just by proxy, just because it's the people that are in it, John Cena and Randy Orton, 2 big names. They fought a lot. They're gonna be called the greatest just because it's those 2. I hope it's the same for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens because every single time they're in the ring, they put on stellar matches, and there's always that chemistry. The fans always feel it. I just love it when those 2 go at each other. Mike, how did you feel about this match?
I thought it was amazing, and like Nick said, it really made the pay-per-view better because, like Nick said, it was just dragging on. I wanted to get it over with. It was just.
Wait, I totally agree with that. I totally agree because, like, I mean, no, never mind. Let's scratch that. Let me restart. It was the perfect way to end. I wasn't sure which match was going to end the show. I thought maybe it was going to be Randy and Jinder because Jinder Mahal I thought maybe that would have been smart because Jinder maybe needs that main event shine a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. But this was definitely the way to go. This was definitely the way to go.
I also thought after Carmella didn't cash in, because there were rumors that someone was cashing in tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, it'd be Money in the Bank. Then Jinder wins or Randy wins, and then Baron cashes in. And I would have been fine with that. I feel like that would have been a better way to end the WWE title match. But
oh yeah, I would have been happy about that.
I'm glad that I was happy they main evented. Those 6 guys are definitely they're some of the best workers in the company. Some of them are anyway, and they got their shine. I was happy for all of them.
They probably didn't have Baron cash in because that would be 2 Money in the Bank pay-per-views in a row. They'd have the briefcase cash in the same night.
Yeah, you want to have a little bit of a
because with Kane cashed in 2010 when he won in 2010, then they waited 6 years for Dean to do it.
That was such a waste, though, man. The Shield triple threat could have been so much more.
I was hoping that it would be SummerSlam at least. It should have been.
Just imagine this is a real triple threat, guys. Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton. Holy shit! Knock your socks off! Triple threat match right there.
That would I would. I don't know if I'd watch it, to be frank with you.
I would have to watch it because I have to review it, unfortunately.
That's just absolutely absurd.
That is asinine.
That is asinine.
That is blasphemy.
That's atrocious.
Anyways, guys, that's the pay-per-view. That was the pay-per-view.
Did we star it?
Yeah, we're gonna do some star ratings. This match had me entertained all the way throughout. I loved every second. I mean, a bit of a slow start, you could argue, but it was just very, very consistent. I would give this match a 4.25 to the night for sure. Eli, what would you give this thing?
Definitely match of the night. I was intrigued the whole time. There was definitely moments when I thought everyone was going to win. The only one that didn't really have like a moment where I thought they were going to win was Dolph.
Yeah.
But the spots were there, and I am not mad at Baron Corbin being the briefcase holder. I'm wishing him the best in his run. I'll give it I'll agree, 4.25.
Oh man, keeping on these Skype calls. 4.25. All right. Mike, what would you give it?
Great match. I agree with Eli. It was the match of the night, clearly. I'm gonna go with a solid 4.5, 4.5.
Okay, we're getting close to that 5-star, guys. Getting closer. Nick, what would you give this thing?
I'm gonna give it 4 stars. It was a good match. It didn't do like it was the best ladder match, but it got the pay-per-view at least up a bit from all the shit we've seen before. So I'm glad we got this match. Everyone got their spots in. Then Dolph was also there, I guess, but everyone that was supposed to get their spots in got their spots in. So it's good.
I'm intrigued to see where these 6 men go after this, because there's a lot of possibilities on SmackDown.
Dolph is going to TNA.
Yeah, he's going to stand-up comedy, dude.
Dude,
I mean, this show's been running a little bit long, but I would love to have an argument about this because I happen to be a fan of Dolph Ziggler.
Oh God!
no.
Well, everybody, that's the show.
Did you know that Dolph Ziggler is one of Jim Cornette's favorites?
Oh God, that's just
No.
Jim Cornette knows more about wrestling than we all do. That's for sure.
Here we go, Jim Jr. preaching to
Kevin
the
Owens
choir.
could never make it.
Oh. If I'm gonna be Jim Jr., then let me say that Jinder Mahal couldn't draw $1 if you gave him a green crayon.
Oh.
I wanted to say that, but I completely forgot about it. I was gonna say that. I was gonna shout out Jim Cornette too. I'm sorry, Jim. I love you.
So you're the
I know you aren't listening, but I still love you.
and the Jim Cornette of the show.
I'm the Skip Bayless. I'm Stephen A. Smith too. No, Eli.
No,
Stephen
you're not.
A, actually.
Yeah.
Eli Stephen A. And I'm Jim Cornette. Because why not? Those are like the two best people of all time. This is the big Bayless brand, baby.
No, it's not.
All right, we're not getting to inside jokes. We are not getting to inside jokes. Okay, guys, that's the pay-per-view. Yeah, let's plug our Twitters. I'll start. You can follow me on Twitter at the Aiden Edwards. I'm sorry, I know the and that at sounds pretty pretentious. I might change it soon. I'm sorry. Eli, you have anything you want to plug?
I am at the Buckle Bomber. I'm not that active on it, but hey, that's me.
But hey, follow him. Follow your boy. Mike.
You can follow me on Twitter at Worst Profile.
What a fitting at. And Nick.
You can follow me on at Nick Rich. Just replace the I with a 1, and then you'll get there eventually.
Do you wanna plug your Twitch too?
Well, the Twitch is the same as the name I just referred. I stream from time to time. Right now, not that often, but I will get back into it. So if you want to watch some guy raging at video games, that's the place to be.
And
Hell
you can talk to us in the comment section because we'll be there supporting our friend because that's what the Eskimo brothers do. Isn't that right, guys?
Yeah.
And speaking of comments, tweet us, comment on this video, do whatever you want because I want to talk to you people. I want to know what you get.
It is almost some messages, guys.
Yeah.
I guess like YouTube has like a chat now. Like a year ago, I swear to God, that was not a thing. We got some comments. We got like a comment that said, "I love you guys."
Yeah.
Allison Thompson said WWE isn't the same anymore. I agree with you guys.
Yeah, that was our buddy Drew. We love you too, Drew.
We love you, Drew. You're a real Eskimo, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't. That's an inside thing. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking before I talk myself into a hole here. So thank you to everybody who listened tonight on this very Sunday night. I guess it's kind of Monday morning now for most of you, but I'm on the West Coast, California represent. So Sunday night, Monday morning. Thank you to every single person who listened live. Thank you to every single person who's going to listen to this in the future. Maybe you're listening to it tomorrow. We really appreciate you guys. We are glad to be back tomorrow for our Monday Night Raw review. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. All that good stuff, yada, yada. Bless you all. Good night, and thank you for watching.